Military forces have a history of covering up new designs in order to get the upper hand on the enemy, and in no branch is that more prominent than in the Air Force, from flying saucers to supersonic planes that are still a secret. Here are the 10 most secret military aircraft, many of which being the cause of multiple apparent UFO sightings. Number 10. The Caspian Monster, the Lund-class Ekranoplan. Whereas the CIA incorrectly named it the Caspian Sea Monster, was a secret Russian aircraft that operated during the Cold War. This was a giant warplane equipped with anti-surface weapons that flew using the ground effect, a principle that allows large aircraft to fly when close to the ground. It was developed in secrecy, and only a select few people were allowed to work on. Also, since the lead designer did not trust other pilots, he was one of the few that piloted the plane. In fact, the only reason people found out about this plane was one photo, snapped by a CIA spot. The aircraft sadly crashed during a test flight, and his wreckage was too heavy to be retrieved. Thus, this ended the legacy of one of the most terrifying monsters in the Caspian Sea. Number 9. Lockheed SR-71. Developed to be virtually undetectable, the SR-71 was created for the CIA during the 1960s to fill the need for reconnaissance or strike aircraft. It was developed in secret under the codename Blackbird and used special jet engines that allowed it to fly at Mach 3.2. It was designed to be used for the military, with its main defense mechanism being speed, since it would just accelerate and fly away if a missile was fired on it. The airplane served both the US Air Force and NASA before its retirement in 1999. After that, the only bird America could trust was this always lovable big bird. Number 8. VZ-9 Avrocar. This thing that in no way resembles a flying saucer was an experimental aircraft secretly developed by the Avro Aircraft Company in 1958. It was developed by a team called a Special Projects Group that operated in secrecy inside the executive wing of the company's administration building. The project sadly ended when the company underwent a large number of losses and eventually fell apart, and the Avrocar remained a secret until 1966, when it was donated to a museum. The best thing about this aircraft was the fact that by the time your enemies have realized that aliens aren't piloting the craft, you've probably been able to outmaneuver them. Number 7. Lockheed A-12, code-named Archangel. A-12 was the winner of CIA Oxford program, which called for the development of a stealth reconnaissance craft. Long since retired, the A-12 was fast and versatile and had the ability to achieve Mach 2.0, a great feat at that time. The project was so secretive that all the guards were paid $1,000 a month, which included free housing and food. And every witness of a crash or test flight was paid $25,000 just to stay quiet. The A-12 was apparently also responsible for a large number of UFO reports near Area 51 during its first days of testing. It was an amazing design, but due to a lot of accidents that occurred during testing, it was not used all that much, slowly died out. Number 6. Have Blue. Have Blue, developed by Lockheed Martin's Advanced Development Programs. That Have Blue was designed as a secret project for the CIA. Have Blue was designed to avoid enemy SAM sites and radar detection. The project was developed in secret and tested at Area 51, were passed with flying colors. But sadly, mistakes happened during testing, and all the prototypes that have been made were lost. The project still continued in spirit. Number 5. TR-3 Black Manta. The TR-3 is a black project that is supposedly under development for the US Air Force. The aircraft is supposed to be a stealth surveillance aircraft that supposedly served in the Gulf War as laser designation support. The TR-3 existence is supported by regular sightings of a triangle-shaped aircraft near Antelope Valley, location close to two big US military test sites. Until someone catches this thing on camera, it will just be the cause of mass UFO hysteria in deserts. Number 4. Ayaks. The Russians answered to hypersonic flight. Ayaks was to be the crown jewel of the Russian Air Force. When it was proposed in the 1980s, Ayaks was supposed to use a special engine called a magnetoplasma chemical engine that has never actually been proven to exist. The project was supposedly developed for a few years after being placed on hold, only to resume development after a French scientist proved that the Ayaks engine could be constructed and operate at a high efficiency rate. Not much is known about the project these days, only that Russia and China have signed a 10 to 15-year contract for the development of a hypersonic aircraft. Number 3. Lockheed U2. The U2 was a secretly developed reconnaissance aircraft that was used as an intelligence gathering platform by the CIA. The aircraft was approved and designed in secret by Lockheed Martin during the 1950s, and it is still in service today. The aircraft was so secretive. Even its parts were procured from a large supplier in secret, with a story about rocket testing being used as a cover-up. The U2 has since been so useful to both the CIA and the US Air Force that its retirement is not even decided on yet. Alpha why they can solve the name clash with the iPhone user's favorite rock band. Number 2. Horten Ho 229. Nicknamed Hitler's secret weapon, the Horten Ho 229 was a sci-fi-looking fighter bomber designed by the Nazis in World War II. The aircraft had 2 large cannons and 2,500 kilograms of bombs as a payload, which meant that it would pretty much dominate the battlefield. If the Nazis never got to use it, there were only 3 ever built and the testing stopped after a catastrophic engine failure caused one of the test planes to spiral out of control and smack into the ground. The only reason we know about these today is that one of them was preserved in a warehouse, only to be found by the Allies after the end of World War II. The design is also said to be the inspiration to the American B-2 Spirit bomber that everyone knows and loves. Number 1. The Aurora. A legend among the secret vehicle stories. The Aurora is a project by the US military that is so secret to this day. No one is really sure if it exists or not. The Aurora is said to be a Mach 5 capable spy plane that started development in the 1980s and could be active to this very day. The aircraft's existence is supported by a large number of sonic boom data and eyewitness accounts, but the military still goes on to deny that the aircraft ever existed. Maybe the US can keep an NSA spying program secret for long, but they sure know how to hide a supersonic plane. So, what do you think? Do you think they are hiding this plane? Or do you simply think that it's a conspiracy? If you liked this video, then please share it, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe.